Welcome back to the desk. Today we look at two ways the modern state reaches into older worlds, the world of tribal self-rule and the world of childhood itself. This is the Sociology Desk, issue 099. Two events, and for each the concept, the thinkers, and the precise way to write it, so your answer reaches the 19-mark band. Let us begin. Our first event. New rules would have the roughly 30,000 Nicobarese replace their customary consensus captaincy with constituency-based ballot elections in a year when a 91,000 crore rupee port project awaits their consent. Where does this sit? Paper 2, Tribal Communities, Integration and Autonomy. The weak candidate calls it democratic reform for tribes. You will ask the deeper question, is the ballot box being grafted onto a consensus society to manufacture consent? So how do you open? Not with the election rules. Open with the structural claim, imposing the constituency ballot on a society organized by consensus is not neutral. It dissolves a customary form of self-governance in the name of democratizing it. The timing, just as a giant port needs local consent, makes the form of democracy itself a tool of acquisition. That framing signals you are reading governance as power, not procedure. Begin with the classic debate, Ghurye versus Elwin. G.S. Ghurye read tribes as backward Hindus, to be assimilated into the mainstream. His was the assimilationist thesis. Ghurye-Elwin argued the opposite. For protected spaces and tribal autonomy, the isolationist or national park principle. The Nicobarese rules tilt hard toward assimilation, folding a distinct political culture into a standard electoral template. Naming this debate shows the examiner you know the foundational poles of Indian tribal sociology. Two more thinkers sharpen it. Beteille warns that grafting one institutional form onto an incompatible social base produces a disharmonic system. The ballot may sit awkwardly on a consensus order, generating new fault lines rather than democracy. And Partha Chatterjee exposes the machinery. The draft rules retain the deputy commissioner's controlling hand. So this is governmentality, the administration of a population through the forms of participation, not the empowerment of citizens. Devolution that manages, rather than empowers. How to write it for marks? The 14-mark script debates whether tribal elections are good or bad. The 19-mark script opens with the ballot grafted onto consensus to manufacture consent, deploys the Ghurye-Elwin assimilation versus isolation debate, adds Beteille on disharmonic grafting and Chatterjee on governmentality, and uses the port project timing as evidence. It closes on the distinction the examiner wants. Integration need not mean assimilation, autonomy need not mean isolation. Pacer and the sixth schedule offer autonomy without isolation. Drawing those distinctions is the difference between 15 and 19. Expect this, 20 marks. Paper 2. Compare and contrast Ghurye's and Elwin's approaches to tribal integration in the light of recent moves to replace customary tribal governance with electoral rules. Hold Ghurye, Elwin, Beteille and Chatterjee and the answer is yours. Our second event. The United Kingdom is moving to ban social media for under 16s with age verification, positioning the state as the guardian of childhood. Where does this sit? Paper 1, Science, Technology and Social Change with Politics and Society. The weak candidate debates whether children use too much screen. You will read it as the state colonizing a new domain in the name of protection. So, how do you open? Not with screen time worries. Open with the claim that the digital world has become a life world, a space where the young form themselves and their relationships, and the state, by regulating entry to it, extends its administrative reach into childhood itself. The question is not simply protection or freedom. It is who governs the spaces in which the self is now made. That framing lifts a policy into theory. Two thinkers anchor it. Jürgen Habermas gives us the colonization of the life world, the penetration of the spontaneous world of meaning by administrative and system imperatives. And a state-regulated childhood is exactly that, the system reaching into the life world of the young. And Ulrich Beck adds, manufactured risk, the very platforms built for connection, now generate new risks, harm, addiction, exposure, and the state responds by managing those manufactured risks through control. Convenience produced the danger, and now governance follows. At Michel Foucault for the sharpest reading. The under 16 threshold and the machinery of age verification are governmentality and biopolitics in action. The population is sorted, identified, and regulated by age, and the very act of verifying age builds new infrastructures of surveillance. Protection and control arrive together. The same mechanism that shields the child also extends the state's capacity to monitor everyone. Power works by classifying and watching, not just by banning. How to write it for marks? The 14-mark script argues about whether the ban is good for children. The 19-mark script opens with the digital world as a life world the state is now entering, deploys Habermas on life world colonization, Beck on manufactured risk, and Foucault on governmentality and the surveillance built into age verification. It holds the tension. The same policy protects and extends control. It closes on the real sociological question. Not should we ban, but who should govern the spaces where the modern self is formed. Holding that tension is what scores 19. Expect this: 20 marks, paper 1. In the light of recent moves to regulate children's access to social media, critically examine the state's expanding role in the digital life world. Hold Habermas, Beck, and Foucault, and the answer is yours. Let us revise. 1. The Nicobarese election rules. Read through the Ghurye-Elwin debate on assimilation versus isolation, with Beteille on disharmonic grafting and Chatterjee on governmentality, the ballot as a tool of consent. 2. The under 16 social media ban. Read through Habermas on life world colonization, Beck on manufactured risk, and Foucault on governmentality, the state entering the digital self. And the rule that decides your rank: treat the event as evidence and make the theory the destination. That is today's brief. If you would like the full answer blocks and model answers for these events, just leave your email in the comments or write to us at team@upscdesk.com, and our team will share the subscription details. I wish you the very best with your preparation. And remember, consistency is quiet, but it is undefeated. The aspirant who shows up at the desk every single day is the one who is slowly becoming unstoppable. I will see you tomorrow.